Friday night, I want a Chippy Tea. Chippy Tea, Chippy Tea, I want a Chippy Tea. Oh, you keep giving me posh, no, she don't agree with me. I don't want lobster thermidor with raspberry coulis. It's Friday night, I'm within me rights, I want a Chippy Tea.
The sun's stopped you. Son of Satan. Honestly, it's the spawn of Satan, this dog.
Not
cute.
Jack.
No, it's cute as a button, but I could kill it. Just look at it.
Tetley's. No, it wasn't Tetley's, was it? I'm trying to remember the name. It wasn't Tetley's. No, not the T, the dog. Murphy's, that's it. I was trying to think of all ales. Murphy's.
Yeah, Murphy. Never thought we'd be called after a beer, but yeah.
Yeah, kind of Murphy's. You don't get it nowadays, do you?
Not very often, no. It's like a stout, isn't it? It's a bit,
like a creamy type thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not too bad. Used to nick it out my dad's cupboard. That's only one of the reasons I know it.
16. Right, here we go.
Not on proper stuff this time.
Water. I know, water and coffee. I think that's probably a good idea, don't you?
Yeah. I actually thought, I don't know if you watched the episode back, because I thought it was really enjoyable.
I really liked it.
I loved it. It was great.
I watched about half of it and I thought, I'm going to
get pissed more often.
A bit waffly, yeah. No,
it did. Both of our voices notably changed about halfway through.
Yeah, it got a bit waffly, yeah. Yeah. Okay, so, here we go again. Welcome to episode 16 of Chippy Tea, a random meander through this week's happenings with me, Tony Palmer from Palm Print, and
Danny D from Flippin' Sweet Print Co. Wink, wink. Got it first time this time.
I feel like the world's back in order now. Everything in the universe is aligned again now. Now that I don't have to prompt you to do a wink. So what is it? What do we do? We just basically, it's two northern guys having a chat. You might need subtitles because we do sort of like slip into a few colloquials.
Colloquials,
colloquials, yeah. And we are we're going to have a quick look back at what's happened this week. I'm going to start off like we always do, because I just love to see the fear in his eyes, if I'm honest. Because you just got no idea what's coming. I'm going to throw the question straight over to Daniel. And exactly what have you been doing this week?
Well, what have I been doing? Been doing a little bit of printing. That's unusual, isn't it? We've had a case of the old Rona in shop, so it's been it's been a disruptive week. Jasmine's been off with it. I've been feeling garbage, so I don't know if I've got it or not. I've not bothered testing, but I've been feeling pretty shit.
What's the rules now? I'm out of the loop. What's the rules now? There aren't any.
I don't know. Well, yeah. Rules are meant to be
we've gone from having to bleach as vegetables as we bring them in from Asda to now. Oh, you've got corona. All right, that's fine. Yeah, you just work over there on your own for a bit.
It don't really matter for me. I work on my own. Well, if Jasmine stayed at home, so otherwise I'm on my own most of my life anyway now. So
that's because you've got no friends, though, really.
That's because I've got no bit. So it don't matter, does it? So door's locked. I'm on my Todd, and I've just been cracking on. So it's been a little bit. I won't say disrupted too much. Printing's been going fine. Emails have been a bit slower. So generally not too bad. We've had a print though. I tell you what, we did our customer, and oh God, it's caused me some stress. He gave me a print job. Me being Mr. Positive, he gave me a print job, and by it was technical. It required some serious separation work from John.
Okay. And
the customer's just been a non-stop pain in the arse. Luckily, I've got show and tell, because show and tell last week went quite well, didn't it? So I'm good prepared this time.
If you pull anyway, out of it, I'm going to knock it out.
Anyway, this is the one. You enjoy that?
I knew it would come in. I could read it like a book.
I over-exaggerated on that bit much, didn't I? Oh, the acting skills let me
When
down.
you threw the separations in, I thought, no, it's not about me. No, it's about something
No.
else.
But I'll tell you, actually,
We're under pressure.
no, obviously,
We're
totally,
under pressure.
no, totally joking about all of it. I discovered that quite clever your logo. It's very detailed. It's very nice
It is
print.
very detailed, yeah.
But I discovered your logo makes sense because it is a palm. And your name's Tony Palmer. So now I know where it came from. never put two and two together, but there we go.
Yeah. And that imprint is my daughter's hand when she was 5 years old.
That was going to be my next question. I thought, is it just a random one off Google or is it an actual... That's cool. I like it.
No, it's just a random one off Google, sorry.
Oh, you dick. Right, I'm off. You should have stuck with that. That sounds really
No,
cool.
yeah, I could have done, but no. It's just a random one off Google.
Oh, well, you got me back there. I deserve that, I suppose.
So my son has Palm Code. My daughter has Palm Studios. She does some like Etsy stuff, with a plotter and Cricut.
Oh God!
I don't know if you've heard of Cricut.
She's not one of them, is she?
Well, it started through.
As long as she doesn't call herself a t-shirt printer.
No, she's helped me so much that no, she probably won't do. When she was younger, she'd been like end of dryer, she'd been weeding, she'd been doing everything.
Yeah.
And through COVID, she was in the hospitality industry, and it closed down completely. So nothing to do. And when there's nothing to do, you're sort of like, well, what can I do? Well, these Cricut machines are really cheap. Get some vinyl. Dad can steal me some vinyl from somewhere.
Yeah.
Because the only offcuts are like this big, you know what I mean?
Oh, yeah.
And did some stuff on Etsy and online. And my son does Palm Code, which is writing software code. So
how cool.
Yeah, the Palm is running through it now.
You're all entrepreneurial.
Yeah, we're doing it now. We're on it. No, they're all side hustles.
No side hustles. It's funny, really, because I jokingly made a joke about the old cry cutting thing, because they popped up everywhere. It was a couple. It was probably the boom, was it, middle of lockdowns, I should imagine.
In Warwick went crazy, yeah.
And all these all these lasses getting these cry cut plotters, and I can't judge because I did the same thing 10 years ago. I got a plotter.
What's the difference?
I didn't get a cry cut. I got an actual plotter, but
your actual plotter was harder to use.
Yeah, but mine
it wasn't as easy to use.
You could fit rolls in mine, not just little offcuts.
I was in Mexico, and brother, the DTD and sewing machine people.
Yeah,
they had one. And, it's called finding a line or spotting a line. Something that's working really well, even though you didn't expect it to.
Yeah.
So I had this exhibition. And obviously, brother are exhibiting there, and they've got these little machines, and the same size as a Cricut, sort of like the same size as a normal printer. And it scans first, so you don't need any software. So,
all right.
So you put a picture in, and it scans the outline and then cuts it.
Yeah.
It was really good. Same sort of price, £400 or £500. And people were walking out with them under their arms,
Yeah.
If they got a printer at an exhibition, that's a bit tight. And then I see another one, and I'm like, what's going on? And you look, and there's like 20, 30, 40 of them all stacked up, ready to go, show special. And they're flying out the door. So I think that's the next thing, sort of, around that area.
Yeah, well...
Might not have made it to Mexico, but the brother unit certainly did.
Yeah, it was, oh God, it must have been, I don't know, 5, 6, 7 years ago, something like that. When I was doing a lot of vinyl, we have a local factory that supplies vinyl on a roll. So the vinyl, like sign vinyl and garment vinyl, like rolls of the stuff. So I used to get all my stuff from them, and they pivoted. And what they realised was that they could make so much more money with
By
so
cutting it into
little,
smaller.
by cutting it into a little bit, and they completely did a shift on their head, the marketing, to all of a sudden we're marketing to hobbyists.
Yeah.
And they started releasing little packs with vinyl pre-cut in shapes of butterflies and stars and all that crap.
Yeah.
And just putting them in little packs. And they've made a fortune. And they've got like a big, massive warehouse. They've extended it multiple times since they made that switch. Massive. And all they did is they're selling the exact same stuff. They're just selling it to a completely different audience at a smaller quantity.
Same thing I think it were in Leeds, Sydney Beaumonts. It's where you used to go and get all your stuff. It were all sort of like trade only, and then the students found it, and the students were like, "Oh, can I get some card to do this project? And can I get some vinyl to do this project?" And then all of a sudden they're like, "Hang on, if we cut this into smaller lumps and sell it to the students, we get more markup."
Yeah,
and it worked a treat.
Yeah.
I think that's the economies of scale, isn't it? That's the basics of economics. You know,
yeah.
You go to Lidl and buy 3.5 gallon of shampoo for 50p.
Yeah.
or you can go to Asda and buy a little pot like that for £4.
Yeah. Oh well. Yeah, just interested in it. I've made a pivot, but I can't knock it. It's vinyl t-shirts serve a purpose. There's a market for everybody. And if
there was a huge market for HTV, heat transfer vinyl. When did I start? 2000 to 2010, so a good 10 years. There was a massive market for it, and it was it was all linked to like names on back of rugby shirts or football shirts. Yeah. And I think at one point, with JD Sports, you could have your own name put on the back.
Oh, you take your top in and just press it on for you.
You buy the top there, and they put your name and number on.
Yeah.
And from that, then obviously everybody like, oh, well, can you do that? Can you do that? Can you do that? And for all small quantities, I think our break point used to be 20 pieces. That was the argument. At 20 pieces, do I cut and weed, or do I print?
Yeah.
One screen round twice. What gives me the most time? Well, it's quicker to print them, but I have to make a screen. If I weed them, it's only one person, but then it's time to weed, so it's intricacy of design.
Yeah.
So it definitely has its place. But I think it's gone now.
I do, and I think you can see that in the way that the vinyl companies, the people who make the vinyl, are venturing more into special effects. You can see the high build stuff. You see all these new special effects. I guess our industry, the industry that would maybe need rolls of the stuff, because we're doing it on a bigger scale, we've moved away from that. We've gone digital, we've gone screen print. DTF, all of that.
DTF has killed vinyl printing dead in the water.
I imagine so, yeah.
Absolutely.
That's crazy as well. So that's like just appeared out past 2 years or something like that?
It's 2 years. I would say it's 2 years, yeah. But, all true products find a way. If it didn't work, if it was crap, if you couldn't make money at it, you won't be selling any. I told you the story. I've been in Benelux, and there was 180 machines being put in the last 2 years. I'm like,
jeez.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's a lot of people thinking that this is a good idea.
Yeah.
Whether it's price point, I don't know, because you can buy some of these machines for less than $5,000. You can buy some of them for $30,000. It depends, how well connected in China you are.
It depends who's on your phone book. There's a place for everything. Everything has its place. As I say, I think.
It's more about tidying up, but it's what your mum says.
Yeah, but
she walks into your room and goes, "There's a place for everything, and everything needs place."
That's right. Yeah.
Where's your washing?
Yeah. But
I saw some puff transfer.
Right.
So HTV that you cut, and as you press it, it lifts.
All right.
Not the straight edge stuff, which I think was called brick.
That's right. Yeah.
Which replicates
high build,
high solid, high build. Not that straight edge stuff, but actual puffs.
Right.
So it cuts flat. Then when you press it, when you lift up the heat, it raises like
bloody hell.
Yeah.
You see, I've had this conversation with myself. as I often do.
There.
Vinyl, like I just said, there's special effects. In many ways, or in some ways, you can weigh it up. Is it easier to heat press puff? And is it easier to heat press high build than it is to screen print?
Well,
and
you
for
can
certain
answer that question.
Well, I can answer that
perfectly
because I've just done it.
because that last job you did that I saw on Instagram, that was a mixture of a print and high build. So you were gonna have a go at making a screen.
That's right.
You didn't.
I didn't, but so basically the situation was he needed some quick to give out to the athletes who were in the country for a couple of days. So we agreed to do a small batch so I screen printed the inner text.
The yellow bit,
and then so was it bright neon? Oh God, it was a bit of a deal to be fair. So it was a 50-50 sweatshirt, which already is a bit of a pain in the ass.
What colour?
It was, there was a mix of colours, mainly darks, so purple, red, black. So first of all, it needed a dye block, then needed to print it white, and then we had to print the most irritating colour to print, which was a fluorescent neon yellow.
Day-glow yellow,
Day-glow yellow. So which actually worked out fantastic. It looked super bright, super opaque, couldn't fault it. I actually got in a pot of Wilflex, like just a pre-mixed neon yellow. Fantastic. It was the best I've used because I have tried others, and I can mix it here as well. I've got the fluorescent yellow with my mixing thing, and I can mix it together. But I thought I'll just get a dedicated pot, which I was hoping would have more body to it, because that particular colour can be quite translucent.
Well, if you put white in it, you lose the brightness of the yellow because you get a chalky colour, a milky colour. Yeah. So you need that strength. So it's usually a different base. Yes, more opaque base.
Yeah, that's right. So anyway, the printing side.
A Pantone colour? Did you go for 806 or a Pantone?
No, it was just literally
off the shelf, as bright as you can get.
Yeah, the instructions were that as bright as you can get, as bright and as neon and as fluorescent as possible. So that's what we went with. So printing went totally fine. Only printed a small run of them just to get them done, and then we came to heat pressing the outline, and the outline was the high build vinyl. So it was 3 lines of text.
Did it cut and weed okay?
Cut and weed perfect.
Was it
I didn't do.
Is it called brick?
Yeah, it's brick. I don't know what word we use. I think it's brick, something like that. Yeah. I didn't do it. I outsourced the vinyl, and then I just heat pressed it.
Somebody to cut it for you?
Yeah. Somebody who does this quite often.
Oh, right.
Because I don't do. No, I don't have a plotter anymore. I got rid of them years and years ago.
I thought you did it in house. You cheating?
No. So I got a bloke to cut it for me. Shipped it over.
So when I said, did it cut and weed okay, you just went, yeah, you've no idea, because it just appeared cut and weeded.
Well, it worked, so I assumed it was fine. Well, I weeded it. I didn't cut it. Well, the only thing I didn't do is run it through a plotter. So we weeded it. It weeds quite well. I have had some before. If you go too small detail, forget about it. It's a pain in the dick. Yeah, not worth the hassle. No. So don't go for intricate designs, not a chance.
Big blocky
text. So so we heat pressed this. Now the hard bit was, as we discussed, lining it up.
Because when you take your shirt off, you stretch the text.
Yeah.
It's fabric. It moves. It stretches.
Yeah. So what I found myself doing was putting it on the heat press platen, and then sort of moving the corners, shifting it, using a bit of heat-proof tape to hold it in place. That's not practical.
If you can, cut and put this side on, then put the middle on, then put this side on. If you can get away with a joint.
For some of them I did, so it was 3 lines of text. So ones that were particularly awkward, I would cut each line and do a line at a time.
Yeah.
Now, what I found is there are some limitations there. Now, heat pressing the... See, I thought if I heat press the 3D high build with screen print underneath it, it's not going to touch it. It did. And it didn't interact all that great I got away with it, but what I printed off press through the dryer looked better than what it looked like when I gave it that heat press, that one heat press. There was, you could almost see like.
Do you think it died with the heat?
It didn't. No, it wasn't a dye thing. It was weird. It was a bit like there were some fibres that came through. Only like little spots here and there. It was like totally fine. Customer had no issue with it. It looked fine enough, but I know it didn't look as good as it did fresh off the press. So anyway, this was a prototype, an experiment, and it was agreed with me and the customer that we would do this. He would give me some leeway to have a play, but this small batch we wanted to get out as quick as possible. So we tried the eye build, worked fine. Next step is to do exactly the same, only we're going to print high build screen print. So the outline, we're not going to heat press it. I'm going to set up a fat screen with our guidance. Not yet. I'll get some.
Yeah, buy the film. Don't do the double coat thing.
No, I don't want to do that. I don't want to do that.
You know where to get it from. Hi, Liam.
Discount code at bottom.
Yeah.
So I'm going to get some
discount
of that.
Code. I'm sure I've heard discount code before. We're
not sellouts. We're not sellouts. No. 300 micron, is it? I think that would be.
So I used to
suitable.
use 400, and somebody said to me, "Look, if you want to do it, do 2 layers of 200, and you'll get a better result than trying to do 1 layer of 400."
Will it not start to lean? You know, like fucking leaning tower pizza.
400 microns. Don't forget, it's only like 0.4 of a mil. It's not,
Right.
it's not that thick.
No.
I found it easier to push the ink through 2 200s rather than 1 400.
Oh.
And then I compromised a little bit by doing a 300. Because I think that's, according to the design, looking at what your design were, I'd probably pick 300 because it'd be less pulls. But
Right.
I don't think for 1 minute you're going to get into 1 pull because you're not.
Yeah, this is
weird.
weird.
Print, flash, print. It's going to be print, flash, print. At least 3, maybe 4.
Right. Oh, God.
Be prepared with some coins to get you off contact.
I imagine you want quite a decent off contact, do you?
Well, first pull, you want, let's use coins. First pull, you want 2 coins.
Yeah.
So then your next pull, if you don't increase that off contact, your mesh sits exactly where you just left the ink. So you can't build anything. So now you need to build your off contact by another 2 coins.
Bloody
and then
hell.
print again. And then another 2 coins. All right, dog, calm down. Dropping me hints by sticking his head out at cat flap. It's like, come on. So yeah, just keep building. So it's almost progressive off contact. So if we're on a press, then that's exactly what we do. And if we had like 3 screens to try and get this, the first screen would be on number 2 off contact, 2 mil.
Oh,
And
interesting.
The second screen would be 4 mil off contact. And the third screen would be 6 mil off contact. Because if I keep them all the same off contact, imagine that so your mesh is like that.
Yeah.
And you're leaving behind that.
Yeah.
So if your screen comes down again and touches the shirt,
There's no room to leave out.
no, you're not building anything. So your screen needs to come down to the top of your previous print.
So would you recommend, as an optimal way of doing it, maybe even having two of the same screen set at 2 different off contacts rather than pissing about with coins?
I don't know for a manual, but yeah, I would, yeah.
Well, this will be fun, won't it?
If you can afford to, yeah. Ring our mate at Mad Specials.
Yeah, he'll know. It's a piece of cake for him, this.
Just give
him job. Well, the eye build ancillary film, you have to buy a roll of it, don't you? Anyway, so like
capillary. I think.
What did I say? Ancillary, capillary.
Yeah, I think they do it in sheets.
Oh, do they? I couldn't find them on that one.
Yeah, I think they do it in sheets.
I'll have a look.
Yeah.
But I might consider doing a couple of screens, exactly the same screen, but setting them at 2 different off contacts, so then I can hit my first layer, and then by the time it comes around.
Yeah, because you love to spend your day registering screens up, don't you?
Not really. Registering screens is a bit of a do, isn't it?
Yeah.
Has anyone ever... I mean, this is different. It's different for you because you come from an auto background and there are tools to make registering pretty easy, I should imagine. Once you've set up.
I've got three axes. So you've only got really one axis at the back and you're throwing it. Yeah. Whereas, because I'm holding the screen here and here, I've got 3 axes. I've got one that way, one that way, and one that way. Yeah. So using those 3, I've got ultimate tools in which to be able to move things without getting my precision adjustment tool out.
I've got this list that I've been working on. I'm going to reveal it as well in one of the episodes. It's just not finished yet. Okay. You asked me a few episodes. You said something like, what did you say? You said,
"What's the ultimate?" Because we'd have a few beers last week.
I don't know what we said last week.
I'm not sure. I'm not even going to rewatch that one.
That's episode 3.2. No, I'm lying. I loved that episode. It was great fun. My favourite episode so far.
I'll have to go back and give it a watch.
They were great. I can't remember it, but I'm sure it will. Yeah. But anyway, I've got this list because you asked me something like, "Well, I've got a couple of lists." You said, "Where do you want to be? What would I consider success?"
Yeah,
and I give you a really rubbish answer because it was just sort of on the spot and I just pulled it out my ass, and I thought
because we don't rehearse these things,
we don't. So I thought it struck with me, and I thought, you know what, I'm going to give it some proper thought. And I've got a couple of lists. I've got my ambition going forward, where I want to take Flipping Sweet as a business. And I'm going to build, I call them, I forgot what they call them, but basically it's a piece of board. A mood board. A manifesting mood board. And I'm going to put what I want on it out of my business on one board.
I'm going to have some crystals on it and stuff.
Yeah, I'm going to light a candle. I'm going to show and tell it whenever it's done. And I made a list of stuff that, fucking lost track.
Where you want to be, what you're going to do, how much you're going to sell it for to this rich American businessman so you can live on your yacht.
What triggered it? What's on my list? There's something on my list that you've just said, and I forgot. Registering. Yeah. So I've got a list of things that slow down production, and registering is one of them. That's on my list. It's quite a slow process for me, and I'm not. So on this list, that is an area that I want to improve, and then there's a little arrow, and then I need to make a number of key points where what can I do to improve it? I ain't got on it.
How much value is on that, you think, for you?
I would say particularly quite high. Screen preparation's probably my biggest hold-up. That probably goes at number 1. Registering like a 6-colour job can take a couple hours. Getting it bang on. And that's a lot of time to register a job. I imagine in your world, like we're talking minutes. Like if you go to a shop that's got it sorted,
but I spend the money. I can spend more on pre-reg than a press.
Yeah. So
because it has that much value. Because any time that the squeegees aren't moving is dead time. I've got 3 people wandering about with their fingers up their ass, sort of going, oh, look, it's taking him 2 hours to set that up.
Yeah.
Must be crap.
Yeah. It's something in the manual world. I mean, I don't, maybe I'm wrong. I don't think there's an awful lot you can spend to make that process. Well, there's pre-reg jigs.
There's pre-reg jigs with the pins and the film.
Yeah.
Okay?
The crap.
So the You bought. I know which one you bought.
Yeah.
I remember you buying it. No, it didn't fit your press. To be fair,
Do you know where it ended?
You had to get the.
Do you know where it
drill out.
ended?
It's under stairs. It's under stairs with squeegee washer.
It's in scrapyard.
Is it?
Scrapyard. I couldn't even sell it. Couldn't even get rid of it. In fact, at one point, I'm pretty sure I offered it for free. Nobody took it. Utter garbage.
Sell for a fortune. People still buy them. I'm going to a place in a couple of weeks' time, and I guarantee you they've been sold one.
But has he got the only press that it actually works with from the same brand?
You mean the?
Yeah, the one that looks like a military tank.
The Vastex, yeah, fuck it. They're not going to listen.
No.
The Vastex, yeah, well built but over-engineered.
But even
pre-reg
generic,
system, it can work, but instead of 2 hours on press, you spend an hour and a half on the pre-reg system.
Yeah.
So, in theory, according to the sales guy, it's faster.
Yeah. Yeah.
And you know, he's sort of correct. But we're going to press pause.
Yeah.
Okay.
Go on.
Only because this dog is driving me insane. Come on, you little shit! I've no idea what you've done. He's in a crate. He's in a crate, so it's not bad. But he's just. I mean, he's on drugs.
Oh, dear.
He's like 3,500 miles an hour.
Is it a puppy? Is it like a?
He's a puppy, but he's big. Come here.
Yeah.
Come here, dickhead. Come here. I mean, my dog. He's normally called Catchy Knobhead. And this one is General Chaos. He's just got... Look at his eyes. There's nothing going on in that little head at all. He's like, what can I eat? What can I eat? What can I chew? What can I eat?
I know, he's like, not even paying attention to what's going on. I want to believe you if you told me he was a puppy. I haven't seen him. Right, big bugger.
Huge. He's only 6 months, yeah.
I didn't realise that type of dog
completely
looked that
and
big.
utterly
Mental.
food-driven and totally mental. He brought a bramble, full 4 foot, full of thorns in his mouth, into house.
Jesus.
What are you doing? I can't take it off you. I'm going to be blooded up.
Right, bloody hell. The crackers.
No brains. Anyway.
See, what's actually happened is your son's told you he's gone on holiday, but he's emigrated and just left you with dog.
Find out where he lives. So, we were at... Where were we? Registration. Okay. So, for...
Pre-reg systems.
Pre-reg systems for manuals. Without having a computer place the image on the screen, we've still got the weak link, the soggy bit in the middle, which is you. Yeah.
The big
and while ever that soggy bit's in the middle, we've got a chance of variation. Now, I do know some guys who are exceptionally good at placing that cross. The FPU unit, which is a film positioning unit on MHMs and rocks, has light-up crosses.
Yes, now that's a system I've looked at.
Underneath.
Yeah.
So, which is great, but all that really does is DIY. All that really does is make sure that the image is on the screen in the same place in relation to, and that's the key, in relation to what? Edge of the frame is an M&R. Pins is MHM and Rock. And now Rock have dropped the pin system because it didn't work. And now it's a tri-lock, 3 blocks, like when you're loading paper, flat stock. So then you have to replicate that on your press.
Yeah. I built a pre-veg system. So I bought this garbage load of bollocks pre-veg system. I tried it as it was sold with the carrier sheets. That didn't work. That's stupid. I have seen people pretend to make it work, but they're lying. But if they do pretend to make it work, they pretend to make it work without the carrier sheets. I think I can safely say, without anybody saying you're an idiot, carrier sheets are shit. I think I can be confident saying I won't get any backlash, because I'm sure most people who have tried carrier sheets say, this doesn't work, I'm going to try a different route.
It depends where you put the carrier sheets, really.
in bin where they belong. That's where to put the buggers. So anyway,
on press.
Yeah, I had I had the whole episode with that, and I thought, right, well, I'm going to do this myself. So I bought a real thick piece of acrylic, clear acrylic.
Yeah.
I put some rubber feet underneath it, one in each corner, and then I had a transparent vinyl printed with a registration guide.
Yeah.
Which was mirrored. Stuck it to the top of my clear perspex. And this perspex I've had cut to fit within a screen. So I sit a screen on top of it, upside down, so the edges drop. That's why it's on feet. So the screen the mesh sits flush on the perspex and the guide. And I guess really that is the laser system. There's crosshairs, and I place my films on top of crosshairs, tape them down. But the tolerance, there's a tolerance, because what I discovered was not all my screens are the same.
The frames are made by 5-year-old girls in China.
Yeah, and they're all.
It's not important that they are straight and true. It's not important. They just have to be a rough rectangle shape.
Yeah.
So the fact that there is no conformity of making the screens means that each one's different, which means that if you're not using the same method to place the image on the screen as you are to hold the screen in the press, you're screwed.
Yeah, yeah. So, I mean, like, at first when I started using it, I thought, all right, none of the screens are the same, but if I always butt the same corner, I'll have a... But that don't work either.
No.
Because they all vary. And like you said, probably the angle, they're not all perfectly straight. So anyway, I scrapped that whole idea. Well, I didn't scrap the whole idea. I still use that system, but I've come to
it gets you close.
The realisation it's roughly thereabouts, and then I register it on press. Whether I can improve on that, I don't know.
So the best way... So M&R tackled this right at the very beginning. So they do a pallet that you take off and put on. So you take off your normal pallet, you put on a pallet that has the 3 stops on, the tri-lock.
All right.
So it's a special metal pallet that you take, like your special acrylic pallet. It's a special metal pallet that you take off, put on, and then you just butt up your frames to the left and to the bottom, or to the left and to the top every time. And what that means is that all the frames are held in the press in the same place in relation to the edge of the frame. Yeah. So we've got variables there. There's a company up in Newcastle, really big company, huge, £50 million turnover. They use the tri-lock system, and it's awesome for them. They use it on 4 autos, and it's part of their process. They never look through the mesh. They make the screen here, they do this, they've got CTS, and they just throw the screens in and almost start printing every time. Now, out of all the places I visit, that's the only place I can say that with hand on heart, it works a treat. Everywhere else I go, the tri-lock system, the pallet is under the dryer gathering dust. Yeah, because people say it's not quicker, it's not faster. No,
when I spoke to people, so when I was at the time looking, I spoke to people who have got various systems, and the tri-lock came up, and I was surprised by how many people said exactly what you just said. It just sort of gathers dust, and I thought, well, is that just because we've not sussed it out, or I guess there's variables. Like, I was watching a bloke use his, and he was scraping with a Stanley blade the edges of screens to make sure there's no like bits of crap on them or anything, just to make sure it's like, bang on.
Yeah, the thickness of tape is, white poking out from a red underbase, an underbase red. Yeah. Just the thickness of tape would drive you insane. It's not acceptable. Yeah. It's got to be more accurate than that. Yeah, yeah. I think the only true way to do it is to have a computer place the image. So now we're into CTS. Yeah. So top end, 110 grand. Bottom end, 12 to 14 grand for what they call a freestyler from Exile. One screen at a time, takes about 6 to 8 minutes. But it has a clamping system.
Right.
So if we use your acrylic clamping system, i.e. you make 2 of those that you've got, put one on the CTS and one on the press, hey presto, you've solved your problem.
Right. Yeah.
And what we do with the autos is we put the clamping system that's on the auto. So if it's a tri-lock system on the auto, we'll put that on the freestyler or the Spider. Spider's like 40 grand, 45 grand. And freestyler's about 14. In fact, I think you can rent them, from what I hear.
Can you?
Because they're just like a flatbed printer that prints black ink directly onto the emulsion.
Yeah. I've looked at them when I was living in Fantasyland, thinking I could afford one of these things. I was wrong.
Now, before anybody gets on a high horse and say, "Oh, Tony's pushing a certain product," I hate the freestyler with a passion.
Oh no,
I would take it outside and burn it. I would take it outside and burn it in an instant. But it does do what it's supposed to do, which is to image a screen in the same place every time. So, if used properly, it can save that time. Now, you probably lose the time that you save trying to get the fucker to work, but other than that, I'm not getting sponsored at all, ever.
It's out the window.
Don't use my discount code.
They'll actually charge you extra.
Yeah, you get billed extra for the defamation.
So, as a thought, as you was talking, normal screens that I use on a manual, the rectangle things that 5-year-olds have put together. What about the screens you more commonly see used in auto shops? And they're like circular. It's a circular frame, and they've almost got like I believe you tension your own mesh on them.
So they're called Newman rollers.
That's what we're looking for.
Called Newman roller frames.
I'm assuming those as a frame will be as close to or much closer to identical frame-wise than those. No. Oh well.
We've got 4 variables.
Right.
Where we can tighten the corners. And we can make the frame. We can make the frame twist if we don't get it right.
Oh, for fuck's sake!
So Newman rollers, when trying to use the edge of the frame on a Newman roller, you're probably less accurate than using the ones that are made by the 5-year-old Chinese girls.
Right. Option number 3.
I'm get sued for that at some point. I've used it far too many times.
So what about option number 3? The frames where you buy the mesh, it's pre-cut to shape, and you sort of like clamp them in. Yeah.
So these are eco frames. These are sort of called eco frames. And recently on a trip to America, I don't like them. Okay, so I've dismissed them because I'm an old stick in the mud, sat in my ways, don't reinvent the wheel. There's nothing wrong with the static, and Newman's a shit. And I've had that opinion for a while because I just have. No scientific basis for it whatsoever, except pure prejudice.
No pros and cons, just take me with it.
And I bumped into the shop, and they've got 1, 2, 3, 5 machines, and they're all running these, and I'm like, God, these must be horrible to work with. No. Actually, I quite like them. The only downside I can possibly see of the whole system, expensive. That's the only downside I can see. To buy the frames is expensive. But one thing I really loved, so at some point they've had this now it's my turn to go on tangents. At some point, this particular company has had a glitter job. Okay, and it's a glitter job across. They have a national championships for basketball, and it happens in March, Mad March, and the whole factory just gets swamped with hundreds of thousands of prints. And somebody at some point thought it would be a good idea to put special effects and glitter on. So they've obviously bought lots of mesh at 32s. European measurement, but 80s, I think they're called, over there, 86s. And so they've got 10 or 20 of these frames, just in case anything busts, and they've got everything on. And I'm going through, and I said to them, why have we got so many frames with this low mesh count that we can't use, and yet we're really running out of the 90s? Oh, yeah, that was for that job that happened 3 months ago. Is it possible, then, to take that mesh out, put it in a drawer, get some 90 mesh, and put that in? Well, yeah, actually it is. So that, I like the idea even more, that I can have a drawer full of my mesh selection that I want. And if this job requires 1090s, I just pick 1090 panels out, take out the 34s that I don't want, stretch them with using no glue, just a little table, it just goes, and it's done. The tension's above 30 newtons. So higher than a static.
Do you want to be restretching all the time?
It literally takes less than about 45 seconds.
But does it not cause any damage? If you use one of them frames, stick a 60 in it, you print a few runs, and you say, right, I need to upgrade this to a 90. I'm going to take the 60 out, put it to one side, and come back to that later. Does that 60 come back and tension where you left off?
Good question.
Or is it
Can't answer. Don't know. Because at the point I asked the question, we didn't think it was possible. So at that point, we thought we just had to throw it away.
To be honest,
not with emulsion on, obviously. We stripped the emulsion first.
Yeah, I've got to think of dolphins. Oh, I saw a dolphin this morning. Anyway, a tangent, wasn't it? I've done it. Aye. Do you not watch my story on Instagram?
I flicked through it. I didn't see a dolphin. I thought it were a
No,
toad.
everybody did that. I woke up this morning, set off walking to work, looking at sunset.
No way you saw a dolphin this morning.
Have a look. That was a dolphin. Have a look. Look near, there's a boy, like a floating
Yeah, not a small boy.
Not an actual boy. And,
yeah, so I can see the small boy. Oh, shit, yeah.
Aye, there you go. It's a dolphin.
That might have been a Cocker Spaniel got lost.
Cocker Spaniel with a fin?
It didn't have a fin. How good your eyesight?
I thought it was a shark at first, but then it did like the arch.
Hot sharks.
It follows me to work. Yeah. There actually is a shop up here, like a little farm shop, and they sell exotic meats and sell like crocodile and shark and all that stuff. Anyway, that was a tangent, wasn't it? So I saw dolphins.
That's one of the best tangents ever.
So this mesh.
Will it still keep its tension? I don't know. That's a good question.
We don't know the answer to that. And
I don't know.
Look, the frames are expensive, but. Have you seen how much it costs to remesh normal screens these days?
In my head, it's 30 quid.
You might as well just buy a new screen. I've got shitloads of frames downstairs.
What's the frame? The frame. So to buy a frame with mesh in it is about. Actually, it's about 35 quid.
It's gone up a bit now, to be honest, but I only know this because I've got about 30 frames downstairs which are just sat doing now. I need to get meshed. And I priced it up and thought it wasn't far off just buying brand new screens. However, I will say this, somebody who supplies screens told me there's a aluminium shortage.
There is.
And it's getting really expensive for them to make the frames.
There is, and what they're doing, they're using cheaper, thinner aluminium.
Yeah,
you struggled with that word, didn't you? You sort of like stepped round it carefully, and I want you to say it again just to see if you fuck up.
Well, I'll do it. I'll do it for our American listeners.
Aluminum.
Aluminum. Aluminum's expensive.
So the difference is sort of like 1.5, 1.6, 1.8, and 2 mil thickness. Obviously, the thicker the extrusion that they use, the more stability. So the less tension you're going to use along your long edge, so your long edge doesn't bow inwards like that.
Yeah. I purposely spend more.
Displayed there, look.
Very, very perfectly displayed. I purposely use a particular supplier for screens because I know they use the thicker diameter.
This is episode 16.
Right.
Well, I know that Tony from SPE uses a thicker, more sturdier frame than one of
That's
the
where
other.
we've got. That's where we've got to sort of like go. I hope he's not lying to me. There are places that make the frames, and there are places that buy the frames. Mm-hmm. I'm always dubious about places that buy the frames because they're bought 5-year-old girls from China. The places that make the frames, so we've got Dave at Peak Inks and we've got Chris at Screen Machine. Those are the two big ones.
They make the frames.
They make the frames, and they are the ones that are reporting the problem with the aluminium.
Right.
Because it's in short supply or it's expensive or something.
It's pricey.
The shop that we were talking about last week, they're going to want 450, 500 screens just to make it work because of the throughput of work. And they're getting drip fed 30 to 40 a week. And they need 500 really.
Well, I couldn't even buy two. Yeah, I couldn't even buy two 90s. A few weeks ago, I couldn't even get a couple of 90s. I think I wanted like 5 of each, and I couldn't get them because they didn't have stock. So they suggested that I had it remeshed, and then I got a price from multiple remeshes, and I was like, "This is crazy." So they just sat there for a minute, which is a total waste.
Going back when I first started this, and the guy said to me, "Can you get anything for old frames?" Well, it depends what you've got. What have you got? And he took me into his warehouse, and he had racks full of old frames, but they were all different sizes. So in today's world of CTS and image positioning, that's a no-go. But somebody just starting up, or a manual, where it doesn't really matter, then they'd be great. And he's probably still got them, if I'm honest. On a tangent, do you remember the shop I went to that was I don't know how to say it politely. The screens were, these were really, really bad, and they've asked me for ways to clean the screens up. And I'll throw this open if anybody knows a good way to clean screens up that I have had.
I've got a good hack.
Years of abuse. Well, I suggested grinder.
Yeah, that's what I do.
I suggested grinder, and he said it wasn't working. So he's actually taken them to be sandblasted.
That's a no-oper then.
Yeah, he's taken them to be sandblasted. And
yeah,
the guy's charging
good idea.
£5 or £6 to each frame to have them sandblasted just to get years of abuse of water-based ink off them.
I think that's quite expensive as well, because we've got a sandblaster around here who I've used, and they'd have done that. I don't think they charge anywhere near £5 or £6. But anyway, yeah, I use not a grinder, I use a sander, just with a fine bit of sandpaper, just come out.
That's
perfect.
What I said.
Like
that's what I said. Yeah, but yours won't be filthy, will they? You're a bit of a clean freak.
No. Yeah, they're not anything like what it sounds like.
No.
If you keep on top of it,
I'll show you some pictures.
Yeah, that'll be fun to see. Don't use the sander on the inside edges, because as you find out, you'll probably pop the mesh. As I found out, these
haven't got mesh in them.
Oh no, that's all right. That's all right then.
No, I wouldn't put a sander anywhere near them with mesh on them. Not with my DIY skills.
No, me neither.
You said that very quickly.
So Tony, I come up with a fun idea. I noticed we're starting to get a few comments now on his YouTube videos.
Yeah.
And I thought some of them are questions. And I thought maybe I could read a couple to you, and you could give us your response.
Let's go for it.
Good idea, eh?
I think it's a great idea, yeah, because I read these comments all the time. I
don't have to prompt you every week, do I?
I need to start reading these comments, don't I?
Most of them are aimed at you as well, because they're technical. So they're guaranteed to be aimed at you.
Nothing about dolphins and seagulls, then.
No, funnily enough. Nobody said up about ghost pools or out like that.
Ghost poo. That were an episode to remember.
I'm borderline redundant on this podcast. But anyway, I'll read you some questions. I've not got it totally planned out, but... Ray Beers. I don't know if he's done that on purpose. Ray Beers / Ray
name.
Beers.
Yeah.
I like it. If he's done it on purpose, it's a good one. he mentioned something about Diana Dawes. I don't know who that is. Anyway, that's not his question. Oh, this is topical.
Are you on our channel or are you on somebody else's channel?
No, it's definitely ours. Who's Diana Dawes?
It's an old 60s singer.
No, I don't know who it is. I don't know.
I remember
what
me being that old, you know what I mean?
So Ray Beers says, I used to use a super fat film to print the grippy dots on gloves.
Ah, right, yes.
How interesting. Because
Yes.
we discussed that there's a parallel, the strongman world. They now have grippy T-shirts for when they press it log, and they use the same process.
When the press it log, are we on to ghost poos again?
I used to use super fat film to print grippy dots on gloves. Good stuff. Had so many fails trying to build a thick enough but durable stencil with emulsion alone.
Yeah.
Interesting.
So, I don't know. I can't remember the name. I think they were called grippies.
Ray Mears, I've just told you.
No, not that one. Ray Beers. Why is Ray Mears?
Ray Beers.
Ray Mears was out in the wilderness.
He was an SAS bloke or something, wasn't he?
Well, no, it was just some fat bloke, wasn't it? That reckoned to eat slugs.
Pretended he was SAS.
Yeah, I don't think he were ever. If he went SAS, I'm an absolute captain.
No.
So, I think they were called grippies. They were slipper socks.
Yeah.
I don't know if you remember them or not, but they were
like little rubber dots at the bottom.
They had the rubber dots on the bottom. So that was HD clear from Wilflex with printed through a thick stencil, and it worked an absolute treat. And they were printed.
This ties in
mass.
perfectly. This ties in perfectly with something that I need to ask you. So when you finish this, don't let me forget. Don't let me move on to the next question.
Okay. So that goes back to either clear or when clear wasn't sort of exciting enough, they wanted to match the colour of the sock, then we used to put a little bit of puff, but only a very small amount of puff, because you don't want a dome. You get a dome from puff, but you get the straight edge from the HD clear. So we don't want the dome. So if you use puff, you'll get it blowing in the middle, it'll be a dome. But if we use HD clear with a little bit of puff, then you start to keep those edges. They come out a little bit, and you get like a pork pie, but a lot better. We used to do this for rugby kits. So when we made, I'm going to go about 2012 or maybe 2010, really far back. One of the rugby tournaments, England came out with their new kit. And they had this shiny thing here. I was like, what's that? It's like a shiny pattern to the shirt. And I was like, it looks right nice, above it. It looks the logo, and they've got this shiny cross pattern here.
Yeah.
And what it was is for when they were catching the ball, it gripped here. So it didn't slip out. So it was a grip on the shirt. So when we were doing the amateur stuff, we would offer it as, look, you can have your normal shirt. And if you want extra, we can put this on. This basically HD Clear 2 from Wilflex printed through a high build screen. One slight downside to it, over a 3-month period, it sublimated.
Really?
It took on the colour of the sublimated print. Don't know how it worked. Don't know what the science behind it was. Never did enough to find out or to investigate any further. But it did take on a little bit of the colour. Probably during the drying. But it didn't happen in the drying process. It happened over time, which was really.
3 months is a long time for dye.
And it's only because we'd had one. We printed one going like, okay, put this in the showroom and show everybody you can have this if you want. And go back to it 3 months later and look, you can have one like this. Like, that's clever how it's got the colour in it.
Yeah.
Not the colour in it. So,
interesting.
Grippy gloves. The spots on the gloves, but not the crisscrossers. They were done with a different pattern. When you mentioned the grippies,
the crisscross was what I sort of pictured in my head.
The crisscross is a different pattern, but definitely the dots, like goalkeeper gloves. You remember goalkeeper gloves had the dots on them?
Yeah.
and the grip. I'm sure they were called grippies, socks, like slipper socks, but they had that rubber underneath them so you didn't slip.
You could in the strongman and powerlifting world, you can get gloves that are basically not gloves. You can get socks that are exactly that. And they've got the rubber grip at bottom, so when you're doing deadlifts, your feet are nice and planted and grippy, and it's just exactly the same stuff.
So I was in Mexico 3 years ago, pre-COVID, and I got approached by someone who said, could I print silicone? Now, I don't know if you've ever printed silicone or not, and there is a guy, Dan Solomon, who at every show he sits there and he's with his manual, he prints silicone all day long, and he's so chilled and so relaxed, and I swear to God, he's never ever get me to print silicone. It's the most awful ink in the world. It's horrible to use.
Is it very thick?
It's thick, it dries in, it's got to have catalysts in it. It's absolutely horrible. Hats off to people who print silicone on a daily basis. Well done. You can't print it wet on wet. It's terrible stuff.
Why? Why do they print it?
So they wanted me to print it. They wanted me to help them print it on underwear.
Right.
So they had, I'm pretty sure this is out of patent now, so I'm not going to get sued by anybody. Big sportswear company that makes elastic stuff. They had, it's a DuPont company, so I've got to be careful. They had invented underwear that made you look slimmer.
Oh, right.
And what it had these panels printed on the inside in silicone that would pull in at a certain point.
Right.
And so we went from grippy on the bottom of socks with HD clear. So actually HD clear is a little bit wet, a little bit sticky. We want something that grips the skin. Not grips the lino as you're sliding through your nan's house, but actually grips the skin when you've got it on. So they had this unique pattern that they printed on the inside of these big black pants that basically sucks your tummy in a little bit. I've got a pair on that don't work.
I was about to say I could do some of them.
And then from there, if you've ever had gym gear, like I used to go running, so long-legged running trousers. To stop them riding up or riding down, they've got a silicone band around the inside.
Yeah,
that's screen printed silicone. I was over in China printing that on the inside for Nike. On the inside of a waistband, we were trying to come up with a perfect formula that was sticky enough but not too sticky and still printable.
Yeah. So those deadlift socks that I mentioned, they had that band as well. Came off after about 3 washes. So not very well printed.
It's got to be cured properly. You had a question that I said I'd let you ask me.
So I've got a job coming up. It's not really a question. It's more of I've got a job coming up, and I can't take any credit for this. This was John's idea. It's basically a white rectangular logo, an outline, and then inside this white outline is some text, but the background is camouflage. And then on top of that camouflage, there's like a hexagonal pattern, but it's almost as if somebody's gone in Photoshop, set it to soft light, and turned it down to 30% opacity. So it's like a ghosted pattern overlay. So the genius idea of John. I love this idea.
Can I just stop you?
Go on then.
You know how sometimes you don't think you contribute, and stuff that I say sometimes is a bit technical. You just got way technical on me then. Your Photoshop, soft light, 30%, no idea what you mean at all. Hats off to you.
I don't think I got technical. I just overcomplicated an explanation that could have been done a lot simpler. But anyway.
Did they make it look shiny or did they make it look dull?
Well, the Photoshop, the graphic, the actual artwork, it doesn't have anything. So anyway, between me and I'm not going to say between me and John. He gets all the credit for this. We had 2 options. We could either half-tone it, so half-tone the underbase, and then that hexagonal pattern would appear in the camouflage, or we spot colour the camouflage in the white, and then we print HD clear over the top for the hexagonal pattern.
Yeah.
So that's why that led into it nicely. So next handful of days, maybe early this coming week, I will be playing with HD clear. I don't know whether I'm going to do high build. Probably not. I'm probably just going to print it. I was thinking of doing
You don't need to.
building up a little stencil. Not a crazy big one.
If you build up a stencil, do 2 and 2, dry it, and then put 2 lines of tape on the outside.
Yeah.
And then do another coat on that side only. Don't build on the ink side. Only build on the shirt side.
The shirt side. That's what I'm thinking. I thought.
Then you're not putting too much time into it then.
No,
when it fucks up, you're not annoyed.
When it balls up. I just thought it would have a nice tactile feel to have a little bit of a build up rather than just putting it straight off a Fopty mesh or whatever.
So this
HD
clear, a 34, 43. Yeah, it goes to a 43. With HD clear, the more heat that you put on it down the dryer, the wetter it looks.
Oh, so it turns it glossy, right?
Yeah. So that's a good thing with it. I quite like HD clear too. It goes into I put it into stuff to make. It's got really high solids in it, so I put it into stuff to make a high building. If I want a black, then I'll mix it with HD clear and black.
Well, this was going to be my question. So, going back to the job with the neon text, when I print my high build white outline, would I take HD clear and mix it with white?
Yes.
Right. Does it matter what white? As long as it's
the most high solids you can get, and you said you were going to dark, so you want some sort of low bleed. So I would use my sort of like fresh out of the tub. I like SF2 Street Fighter 2. In fact, shall we do a poll?
Where's that from, Ben? Oh, that's a good question. Good
shall
idea.
we do a poll? Let's have
right.
a question. Yeah. Let's throw this out to everybody. Let's not do the normal podcast thing where we get someone on and get them to tell us the life story. Let's do a random question. So today's random question, because I have my answer and I know you have your answer, and we want to know the answer either in the comments, which is a bit of a cop-out, don't do that, or send us a voice message. Again, bit of a cop-out. If you're pretty, like me and Danny, then do a little recording, 10 seconds, and tell us who you are, what's your favourite plastisol white, and why.
Yeah.
Really quick, 10 seconds. What's your favourite plastisol white? Do us a little recording. We want to put it out there to everybody. I've got my favourite. Danny's got his. What is your favourite, Danny?
Total Link. I like Total Link's. Can't remember what.
Get out.
Bright white.
Just get out.
I like it.
No, get out. No, it's crap.
No.
See, it's such a. I think it's such a personal thing.
I'm lying to you.
My favourite. It was an easy question. Go on.
Yes, well, overcomplicate everything. It was my favourite is actually Aquaflex V2.
Oh, just because you've seen a dolphin this morning, you've gone all eco-warrior.
That dolphin's touched me.
That's illegal. Apparently that's illegal.
It weighs my old maths teacher never could, let me tell you.
Whoa!
Well, we can't put that one on. Cut again. Another cut. You had to spoil it.
When did your maths teacher come in?
HSA2, yes, great stuff.
Is that because you've recently used it on that complicated
it's
job?
It's made a comeback in this shop. I've always championed Aquaflex V2 as the best white I've ever used, and even when I got Monk on with water based, I would still stand firm on that is the best white.
Got Monk on. Oh my god, I'm going to explain that to people that live in Texas.
It's the same as having pod on. I can't think of any other way to
describe it. Got lips on?
Got lip on. Got lip art.
Yeah, it's got lip art. Yeah.
So if you can't get it from them three, no hope for you, is there?
So we'll throw it out.
So tell us your favourite
what's your
white.
favourite white ink? We won't restrict it to plastisol, okay? But don't just write it in the comments. Get off your fat lazy ass. No, don't say that. Get off your bum. Do us a little record. Send it to... Where are we sending it to, Danny?
Send it to one of us on Instagram. Is a selfie.
Instagram. That's it. Instagram selfie. Just do a little record. Hi.
A little
I'm
video.
Tony Palmer from Palm Print. I touch dolphins in my spare time, but don't tell me maths teacher. No. Either Tony at Palm Print or Danny at Flipping Sweet. Just drop us a line to say, hi, my name is Tony Palmer, and my favourite white is Street Fighter 2 from Rutland because it pretty much does everything and it looks bright as bright can be. Done. But give us a smiley face.
And then next episode, we'll
cut them in randomly. We'll cut them in randomly.
Well, not randomly. That'd be a bit jarring, won't it? We'll at least announce. So we've talked about having best white. Here are the results.
Yeah. So this is a chance to be on our podcast. Okay. You don't have to set 3 hours aside. You don't have to sit inside a studio and buy a fancy mic like we never did. No equipment needed. Just get on your phone, front-facing camera, and hi, my name is, my favourite white is, and send to Tony at Palm Print or Danny at Flipping Sweet.
Yeah, that'd be good. Good way to get people involved, people on the podcast.
Be on the podcast.
One at a time.
Appear
Lots
on the
of you.
podcast. We'll have a group podcast. How many people can we get in one podcast?
That's a good idea. Right,
Yeah.
let's do it. That's the plan.
I wish we'd come up with these things before we start.
It's crazy, isn't it? It's amazing how well this led to this.
It just flows. Yeah, it just flows.
It's almost like we planned it, but we sort of did, but it's somehow it just did.
Because now we've got to work out how we're going to do that, but that's our problem later. So send us a clip. What's your favourite white? Be featured on next week's episode. Ideally a face. If you feel you're too but ugly, fair enough, send us a voice message, but we will take the
notes will be fine. We will, yeah. And you'll be banned for many future episodes.
We'll find a picture of you anyway and put that over your voice message, so you might as well just do a video.
Yeah. and to help out as well, when I edit in the clips, I'll put your Instagram handles. So
yeah, see,
all 30 of our viewers.
Free advertising to at least 30 people around the world.
Hey, we've sussed it. Now, one of them's my mum, but I'm sure she'll follow you.
Yeah, there's a few of my mum as well, I think. She's got 3 different accounts now.
So, before... She's got a few... Well, got to get the likes somehow. So, before we went on a tangent about what your favourite white is,
yeah,
I'm sure there was something we were talking about. There was a question. I'm sure we were touching the topic.
HD clear white. HD clear was where we were going, which does throw me back to Russell Athletic. Are you too young to remember Russell Athletic?
I know Russell the Garments.
So Russell the Garments. Yeah, no, it's the same thing. It's the same company.
Because you can still get them. I don't think you see them too often.
So Russell Athletic in the... kids weren't born. 92. So 1992, obviously you got Nike, you got Reebok, you got Adidas, but the hoodies, the good quality hoodies, all had Russell in an arc, Athletic in a straight line, like it was some American high school.
Yeah.
And we used to print them, and it was a nightmare because we used to use a grey outline, and the infill had to match the colour of the hoodie.
Oh.
So we had this superb idea. Rather than matching a grey, a green, a blue, an orange, we printed clear. We got some HD clear, some curable reducer, about 50/50, and made this super clear ink and just printed that through the centre of everything, and that became tone on tone. So this is a slightly darker tone. It makes it look wet, so it makes a slightly darker tone of the garment that you're printing with no colour match.
So you were trying to achieve a tonal,
so it matched the garment. So instead of doing a colour match, we just print clear ink inside a grey outline. Grey went on everything because it was just cool grey 5. It went on everything, and then on the inside, Russell Athletic was printed in a very thin HD clear. And it just meant that throughout all the 10 different colour changes that Russell had in their range, we never washed the screen out once, just printed clear on everything.
I've seen that done. I've seen someone use something like 50% white, 50% clear.
Like a ghost white,
Yeah, and it were printed on like the Heather T-shirts. And it just looked like the image was wet. It was just like slightly... Yeah. It was a tonal. Yeah, cool.
Completely clear ink as tone on tone, stops any colour mixing. Top tip. See, we have some use whatsoever.
Top tip. So there's some value in this podcast. Right, I'm going to hit you in a couple more questions.
Okay.
This one's from Ray Beers.
Again.
There's a theme here. I've not read this, so hopefully it's good. I may have been just really lucky so far, but I've done quite a lot of 100% polyester with Magna V2 without blocker.
Yeah.
Just low cure additive.
Yeah.
I've got a job on tomorrow of 200 polyester athletic T-shirts, and I'm using cold cure and a slow 120 through the dryer. With 200, I'll be on top of picking them out at bin and wafting them for certain. It does worry me with all the talk of blockers. I have got some and tried it, but in a very small shop with heat build-up from an air flash, it just added to the problems. One thing for sure, I haven't charged enough for the job. Well, first of all, learn from your mistakes and up your prices on polyester and awkward jobs.
Yeah, anything that takes more time.
And then the techie shit,
more time is more expensive. Cold cure. I presume he means...
maybe
what's it called? It's called Crosslinker.
Is it like a catalyst?
It's called Crosslinker 500. It's called with Magna, and I've seen it put into inks on a retail scale where the curing is down at 120. So absolutely, it does work. Would I do it? No, my arse would be eating my underpants the whole job. Because don't forget the 2 levels. The polyester, the gas in the polyester starts to get pissed off at 140. So you're trying to cure using, if it's a small shop, it's probably like that 20 quid dryer that I looked at on eBay, which means that even if you set it at 120, when it drops to 110, the heat comes on and it'll heat up to about 135, and then the heat will come off and it'll fall down again, and we'll get this constant heating and cutting. So there could be some points where you're very close to the 140. That being said, I know the Crosslinker is very, very good. It does tend to dry in the screen a little bit, but only a little bit, because Aquaflex V2 White does anyway, but it re-wets when you reprint it. So... if you're the type to throw 100 quid on the horses every Friday, then Crosslinker. If you're the type to save Green Shield stamps and food stamps so that your shopping's 35 pence cheaper every week, then use a blocker. It all depends on what kind of person you are. Me, I'd be using a blocker to just eliminate all doubt. If the guy was coming tomorrow and I had to print them today and I had no blocker, I'd take the risk, but I would be blowing on them at the end of the dryer.
I just...
Cool down, blocker, cool down.
No, I won't take the job. You can't. Polyester is one of those you can't gamble, because it's going to blow. If there's such a high chance of it going wrong if you don't block it. Well, it's not such a high chance. Like obviously you can get away with it, but if you don't get away with it, and that job comes back to you, and you've got to reprint the buggers, and you should have done it with a blocker in the first place.
It's 2 days later when you find out. That's the issue. You don't find out. They leave the shop looking superb.
Oh, yeah.
And then 2 days later, the guy walks into your shop with this pink print and going, what the fuck's this? So, my answer is if you're a gambler, yeah, okay.
Go for it.
Drop your crosslinker in, hope and pray to the squeegee gods, sacrifice your firstborn, leave some fruit on the doorstep, whatever it is you need to do, get it done. But if you want to be sure, use a blocker.
Just use everything. Die block, low bleed, low cure.
Yeah. Any more questions?
Any more questions? So we've got another question from Ray Beers. There's a bit of a theme.
Is Ray a friend of yours?
I don't know. I'm not sure who it is. I'm not sure. I'm sure. Well, he must work in a shop.
Where are you
God bless him for commenting. Well, this one was on episode 12.
Just YouTube.
He's even gone through back catalogue. If he's new to the channel, he's gone through a whole lot.
Oh, wow.
What a guy.
Obviously mentally unstable.
Might be a girl. He's my favourite subscriber. Magna Maker White called Killer Base, which I think we've
been
briefly touched on.
Yeah.
Have you got that one? Can you see it now? Magna Maker White called Killer Base, which is meant to be a base white for plaster salt. It does seem to dry
where do
in
you find
faster.
comments? I'm on the phone.
I don't know on your phone. I'm not sure.
Comments 8.
Have you got it?
Ray Beer. That
Ray
name
Beers.
rings a bell.
You better hope it's not a client. So it'll be well pissed off with you, aren't you?
Oh, yeah. Magna Maker White called Killer Base, which is meant to be a base white for plaster salt. It does seem to dry in faster, but as with all Magna bases, can be mixed together and are compatible, apparently. I had a job where I was getting pinholes in the top water-based red, which I didn't know how to sort out, so I used plaster salt top and it all worked great. My advice, and I love Magna, is don't touch the Killer Base. Sorry, Teresa and everybody at Magna, Melvin, but I can only go by my experience. My experience where I tried it, I thought it were crap. If I'm going to do that, I'm going to put Magna Aquaflex V2 underneath there, which is a good product. So although I've said you're shit, I've also said you're good. It's a shit sandwich. If
you give us a discount code and a sponsorship, we'll say it's mint next episode.
Do you know, I've got a discount code if anybody shops at Hunt the Moon.
Oh, yeah, we have got one for you.
Hunt the Moon. If you put Chippy 10.
Oh, was it Chippy 10?
I think it was Chippy 10. If you put Chippy 10, Hunt the Moon, then if you're into sort of like
hobby printing,
small packages of print ink and screens and stuff like that, then they will give you a discount.
About 80%.
I'm saying that, and I'm thinking, did I dream that? 10%.
No, you did, because I remembered it.
Yeah.
Or was it only 10?
Yeah, 10%.
We don't get any commission. So if anybody wants to sponsor us and actually pay us, we'll take it.
Yeah. How does that work? We're not right good at this business thing, are we? No. We just talk crap for a bit. Any more?
Somebody told me about that Killer Base, because I can remember thinking about using it myself. And can you clear up some confusion? Is it closer to V2 or discharge?
V2.
Because I've heard conflicting.
V2.
Right, somebody says it's more like a discharge.
No activator. No. I used it. They asked me to test it on a job that we're running. I threw it on, didn't change anything, didn't give it a really good go. I didn't think it had the opacity or the power or the brightness to give me a good base that it said it were going to. It was introduced to get plastisol printers used to using water-based. And my advice is to copy Danny from Flipping Sweet. And if you want to do that, put Aquaflex V2 down and plastisol on top. And what's it look like?
Looks mint.
Looks mint. There you go.
That's my preference.
So skip the Killer Base, go straight to Aquaflex V2, which it's probably more expensive anyway, so Magna will be happy.
And that's it for question. This is a good name. Davison GPR 50R.
Sounds like a motorbike.
Well, that's what I was thinking. I mean, I should probably read it before I read them out. But
yeah, you should.
Show and tell is great. Show and tell is great this week, and the wallpaper's looking great, Danny. Oh, thanks.
There you go.
But in relation to Tony's background, what's your favourite racetrack? There was some
I answered
F1 digs a few episodes back.
I answered it.
Sorry to not be directly print related.
I answered it.
Oh, did you?
Yeah, if you look further down, I'm sure I answered it.
Just do it again, because it'll be a bit of a boring podcast if you don't.
That's my favourite. Silverstone.
That's my least favourite.
Silverstone is my favourite. I think it's because I've been a few times. It's the home race. It's got just about everything in it. A close second would be Belgium, would be Spa, because of Eau Rouge. Although that is losing a little bit of faith with me now, because the cars are so goddamn good now that they take it at full whack and nobody craps the pants anymore when they're going through it. So I'm still going to stick with that. I don't like street circuits.
No, that's shite. Remember a few years ago when I think it was Alonso and Webber took Eau Rouge side by side.
Yeah.
Overtook each other.
I think Kimmy did it.
Oh, it might have been Kimmy, wasn't it?
I think it was Kimmy. Yeah.
Bloody hell.
Yeah, you got to have gonads of steel, haven't you?
Yeah. Silverstone, I've been to Silverstone quite a few times. I actually think it's the best track in the UK, which I never got to see F1 at, is Donington. Miles better track.
Really?
Miles better. And I was lucky enough to see MotoGP at Donington before they came to Silverstone. I think Silverstone is crap. You're too far away. The price is extortionate. They've just started auctioning off tickets.
I don't think I'll ever go again. I honestly don't think I'll ever go
after
again.
That.
I've lost faith. You know, I could do with some sort of I don't know, extended budget to be able to afford it.
You need a mortgage. You need a mortgage to go to Silverstone now.
I just need a really clever accountant, that'd make my money stretch a little bit further than everybody else's.
Yeah. If you find one, let me know.
He's called Adrian Newey.
Adrian Newey. He knows how to make a good sandwich, that bloke.
Yeah, he throws a good snap. He puts a good snap on. Right. I can see my light. I can see my light fading now as well. So
you need to put another quid in electric meter.
I know. Yeah, it's going to cost me a fortune putting lights on.
Bloody hell!
It's getting dark. So I think we should. Oh God, yeah. I think it's about time we wrapped it up anyway, because we're knocking on for time. Have we answered all the questions? Yes, the Silverstone one. Yes,
we've answered the recent questions. There's a few from a while back that we only just discovered. But
okay, well, I'll make a special effort to go through and answer them on the actual on YouTube, because we're still only on YouTube and Spotify, aren't we? The two important ones.
We could be on iTunes. If somebody could check that and let me know, because I did try and sort it out, and then I actually never bothered to look to see if it worked. So if you have a look and we're on iTunes, that'd be good.
Awesome. So we're going to wrap this week up, Danny. It's been about you, not about me, because I ain't done anything. I don't know if I told you, but I ain't worked this week.
Hang on, let's just have a minute, because I feel like an arsehole now. How's your week been, Tony?
I've been sat at home looking after a 6-month-old Springer Spaniel puppy.
Crazy dog.
That has been the top of my week. I'm working from home for the next month or so. Not got a lot of work on, and taking full advantage of it. If you want a consultation, give me a call.
Give him a shout.
I've had a lovely quiet week. It's been nice. A bit of a break from all the travelling that we do. So we will wrap this episode up. We've had episode 16 done, finished, in the bag. We'll be out Friday night, Friday morning maybe, if you don't get distracted by dolphins that touch you in strange places. Then, and don't forget, as always, like, subscribe, comment, tell your friends, get your mum to create a new account and follow us, because we need the numbers. Numbers count. And next week, you too can be featured on the infamous Chippy Tea podcast. All you have to do, yes, go, woo! All you have to do is send us a 10-second clip, voice or video ideally, because we keep it entertaining, and somebody's got to make me and Danny look pretty. So send us a 10-second video of what is your favourite white. No right answer, no wrong answer. What is your favourite white? Let's get everybody together and see if one comes out on top. I don't think it'll be total link, but let's see if one comes out on top.
Discharge not allowed.
No, we're not allowed discharge. So send us a little voice message, send us a little voice clip, do a little selfie, record yourself for 10 seconds, send it in to one of our Instagrams, or have we got an email?
Oh, yeah, but none of us check it. Send it to
Right.
Instagram.
Instagram, yeah, okay.
Instagram it.
Send it to Instagram, palmprint, at palmprint, or at Flipping Sweet, and we will...
UK.
Flipping Sweet UK. Wink, no? There we
Somebody had already got Flipping Sweet, so I had to put UK on end.
go. All right, okay. So
Cheeky brothers.
somebody had already got palm print as well.
Yeah.
So send us a clip, and we will feature you on next week's episode. Let's get as many people in as possible. Let's not just have one guest. Let's get everybody on. Let's get everybody involved. We want to hear your opinion. What's your best white? And why is it your best white?
Sorted.
Yeah.
Well, I've had a lovely time. Good to chat. And can't wait to do it again next week.
Let's do it all again next week. Yeah.
We'll see you all next week.
Right.
Smash in.
See you there.
Hey, go on then, take off. Bye.
I don't want lobster thermidor with raspberry Kool-Aid. It's Friday night, I'm within me rights. I want a Chippy Tea.